What's going on YouTube? Ichi here. We're back with another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. And last time we pretty much gone through the investigation of this long trial with Lana. We pretty much figured out, well, it was revealed that the murder at the police station was fake because Jake Marshall had his intention was going there dressed as Goodman to get some evidence, but Meekins startled him. So they had that confrontation there. So, you know, it was perceived that Goodman was murdered there, but he was already dead by the time he was killed in the parking lot. And then Lana also revealed that, because she didn't lie when she told us that she stabbed Goodman, but she left out the part that he was already dead when she stabbed him, because she was following orders, because, you know, someone higher up is, you know, blackmailing her with Emma. Because we found a print in their safe, and you know, it's like, why would he have that? But it's like, obviously so he can blackmail Lana. So pretty much we're in the last day of the trial, because you know they only go to 3 days. So yeah, hopefully we can wrap this up this session. That would be lovely. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go, final day. No, that's not it. Where are you? Here we go. Final day. Trial former. Here we go. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 2. This is defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Oh no, that's Edward. I thought it was somebody else. Something's been happening behind the scenes. Edward. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 77777 ID number is, that is. Well, I had a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding the ID card record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skype will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. But that's why I came here, to hear what you had to say. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out. Well, draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the S9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. Better bring your A game. I always bring my A game, bitch. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 o'clock a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skyke. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant, already? Saves me the trouble of calling him out. What the fuck? He teleported in? Like, what the hell? Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Oogie, been back to the pool lately?
No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that one.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
Lana, that is to say, the defendant has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
She wants to do what?
Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
Oh boy. What's this all about, defendant?
I'd just like to make a simple request, and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor,
Try that again. All these voices switching back and forth. I'm like, ugh.
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial.
No, what?
I confess to all the charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana, what are you doing? You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana,
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant clearly has a right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial. I get to go home early. Woo! Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
this can't be happening.
It appears the time for a verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant Edward.
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edward.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty, beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling against this stage would certainly be premature.
Oh, come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut,
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. As my mentor once said, I'm in the court now, bitch, so you listen to me. As I learned from Mr. Von Karma.
Oh, what? What did you say to me, Edward?
You heard me, bitch. Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be.
Oh shit, Edward got a pair on him.
That's right, bitch, so you listen to me. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to whom?
As his first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skype. I request the court hears her testimony.
Mr. Edward, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to
I don't care what you think, Miss Skype, so shut the fuck up. I'm Edward. Everybody listen to me right now. Like I said, Mr. Karma would be proud if he saw me here today. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. So no lying.
Very well, Mr. Mr. Edgeworth. I was going to say Von Karma. You make him proud, Edgeworth. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Grant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. No one calls me a bitch and gets away with it.
Miss Emma Skype, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins.
Emma. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Sky. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer, Joe Drake, of the Joe Drake killings. Is this correct?
Yeah. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago. Really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is, Your Honor.
Well, I guess I can't go home today. I mean, early. I was looking forward to it, Edgeworth. You really ruined that for me. Well, okay then.
He gave up fast.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
Witness testimony.
Witness testimony. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me.
I need some.
Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
Excuse me, I had to take a drink.
That man raised up his knife and he stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's okay. That's understandable. However, please tell Mr. Edgeworth, what does his testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You gotta admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
2 years ago, cross-examination. Okay. We have to press everything. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yeah. She was second in command under then Deputy Chief Police Grant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Grant and his Miss Skype used to be quite the pair.
I believe they shared the same office.
That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too.
The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
A man? Not a woman, a man? Not a he-man, a she-man, just a man?
Yes, Joe Drake. He was a serial killer.
Joe Drake was brought in for questioning on that day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Drake proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Skyke in Gant's office.
there was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there were two people present during Drake's questioning. Deputy Chief Diamond Gann and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
I almost forgot about Gam.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room right after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Drake.
When Drake grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Neil Marshall came running in.
Yeah, I don't clearly remember what happened then, but
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Drake. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
So electricity went out.
Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed.
Ooh, my voice broke.
Right, but then just lightning flashed again outside. That suddenly flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman. The victim? I get here more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
That's on the back of the... Is this the picture? This is it. It's on the back of the list we got. Yeah, so she drew this. Okay. The picture drawn on the back with the evidence list and the magic marker. I got a very bad feeling about this. A picture, yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
This picture, the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning.
But that list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we added a statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost.
You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right?
Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes.
That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. No, that's because Chief Police Gant took it and put it in it and kept it. I don't know why. I don't know why he's like setting up this murder.
But I did it. I drew it. I swear. I'm not imagining it.
This picture M&M drew, that reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again.
Well, anyway, let's continue. The scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us?
The man raised up his knife and he stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
Gotta press everything just to be safe. That must have been a real shock.
And even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly.
Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Drake was holding you hostage.
when the lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Mr. Drake. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling with each other. And not like hot wrestling, I mean like murder wrestling.
Well,
I'm pretty sure I was watching them.
Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can. Alright, so yeah, we got all this. Let's go to the picture. Let's present that. I drew a picture. Lost the man's knife, stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Here we go. Alright. Let's present the picture. Yeah. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put up all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its own existence?
Oh, what? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Don't throw me under the bus. All I'm saying is that as much as the prosecutor... excuse me. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold!
there's evidence. The evidence list for the S9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over? But why? What is this?
Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Oh shit. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they were torn apart from each other.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What? What?
Order, I say. Don't make me start throwing people out. That bit gets old. I'm tired of doing it. So everyone shut up. But Miss Skike, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor?
Oh, you're right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head.
If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edwards' list.
Oh.
Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edwards?
It's possible. Let's see.
Is something wrong?
Do you even have to ask?
Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. I don't know how I missed it. Is that thing?
Oh, the mascot for the police. Yeah, this thing.
That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly, this is an act of vandalism. It's the work of a certain chief of detectives.
I guess he was out for a scrap of paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. Alright, let's look at that.
Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Let's look at that evidence list. I can't flip it over? I guess not.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seems to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture.
Witness testimony. This picture that I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were the shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw that instant.
Alright, it's not much of a testimony, but that's okay. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image into your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Very well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Drake about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Sorry if you guys hear that outside. By now you know the deal already. Alright, press. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Diamond Gant and Lana Skype.
2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind.
Excuse me, witness? But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
Why not use color? I'm a colorman myself. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Drake had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
That's a fucked up way to die, getting stabbed like that. Like, sheesh, like we get shot like it's quick, pow, and you just get hit. But like stabbing it, like that's a slow ass death. Like somebody stabbing you. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt.
What happened after the lightning flashed?
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation was understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further?
No way. Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Don't come at me.
Anyway, this picture...
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the exact scene.
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detective?
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not. I better watch out or he might find some way to cut my salary. And call me a bitch while he's at it too.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture?
Huh? Oh, well, that's strange. She claims this was exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. Alright, let's have a look at it again. So time and you see can you rescue? No. Lightning was so bright, I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor. Drake had tiger and jumped on. I was knocked away. I turned around. And that's when the lightning flashed. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. The flash of lightning only drove off darkness for an instant, knowing that, but their trauma. This picture. This picture looks exactly what I saw that instant. There we go. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? You finally figured it out after 2 years? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, enough of your fumbling around. I'm tired of hearing your presentations, even though you got them all wrong. Perhaps it would be faster if we simply pointed out this contradiction and get this over with. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Oh boy. Oh, he was stabbed in the heart and the lung, and he bled out. Contradicts the autopsy report. Yeah, the knife is in the wrong hand. No, he gets out from the back, right? Well, the shadows, right? No. Contradicts the autopsy report. What was the autopsy report? It said he got stabbed in the heart and lung. And the knife tip broke off in him. But his hand's in the way, so how could he get to his heart and lung from this angle? Yeah, he fucked up. I guess that's the knife. Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man's holding. If you look closer, you can see that its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look close to see that you fucked up, right?
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Drake was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. See, I didn't fuck up.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's so obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Oh! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. You didn't think of that?
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. Did you think of that? The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is that the witness' memory is mistaken.
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered it correctly. I know what I'm doing here. I believe you were annoyed at this time, but she was sure she remembered correctly.
But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Not so fast, Miss Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence?
You're treading thin ice here, right?
All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility.
No. Ah!
Order, I say order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupt?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Drake along with Diamond Gant. During his questioning, Joe Drake fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Drake. It is my belief that somewhere in the story there is a lie. Oh shit. Damn, this is juicy. So you telling me that Gant had a falling out with Marshall and they got into it and he ended up grabbing that vase and busting him side of the head with that junk, killing him. So he planned to force he tried to pin the murder on Joe Drake. And maybe he killed Drake for all I know when he went up in there. Oh shit. Cause that man can't tell no tale, so he probably killed Neil because they got into it. And then he tried to pin the murder on Joe. And then he probably killed Joe too. I mean, he probably killed Joe because he was trying to save Emma. But then he said, oh, I could probably exploit him and cover my ass. That would make sense. I'm like, why the fuck is this vase is like busted up, like, and it's in his office in the picture. So he probably knocked him upside the head with that junk. Cause Diamond Gant, he's a big dude, like, he's a big ass dude, yo. This shit got juicy.
I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife.
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. It must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives?
Another broken knife besides the Joe Drake's. Could there have been one? I don't know. Yeah, there have to have been at this point. Because Joe, he died. I think he had a stab in his back as well, and his body was placed on Marshall's. So I think, yeah, there had to have been another knife, I think. But wait, we're just saying the knife was forged evidence, so... Damn. Again.
And it was in his safe too, with blood traces.
Broken knives just don't grow on trees. There's no way there was another one.
Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor, I believe the witness is mistaken.
I knew it. You really don't believe me?
That flash of lightning burned an unforgettable image in her mind. One that's been torturing her ever since. There's no way Emma could be mistaken. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple over-observational error.
That's right.
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us.
The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. That's all we got.
If anything's broken here, it's you. It's game over, right?
Yep.